Welcome to the Michael Jackson lesson. Yes, that's right. This is it. The final lesson in this video series. And we are posed with a question. Am I now an English teacher? Being a language teacher doesn't just happen overnight or through reading a book. It takes a lot of classroom experience, reflecting on lessons, and experimenting with ways to improve. I'm not sure there is in fact a time when we can truly say we are language teachers, but I hope that through this course you have gained a bit of awareness of how we can go about guiding students in their language learning. Let's see what our final chapter has to offer. Here is our schedule for this week. As usual, we'll start with a bit of a discussion before moving into the text. I'll also throw in a couple of discussion topics throughout as well. Whether we actually have time to get to them or not, I'm not sure. Even if we don't, I hope you'll think carefully about the topics and even discuss them with your friends over a coffee or two, or green tea if your friend is me because I don't like coffee. Let's have a look. So the Teban of typical questions for English teachers. Why did you decide to become a teacher? Can you remember the actual moment you thought, wow, I wouldn't mind becoming a teacher? I'm sure many of you were inspired by your own teachers. For me, I remember being in grade 2 of elementary school at 6 years old, helping a grade 1 child with some spelling. I remember thinking, this teaching stuff is kind of cool. After that, I went through the usual indecisive stages, but in the end, teaching was the only thing I could imagine myself doing. Along the way, I also had some really bad teachers who were just as inspirational as the good ones. They're the ones who today I remember and think, I do not want to be a teacher like you. Alright, enough from me. How about you? What are your stories? I look forward to hearing them in class. Our author gives 3 pieces of advice here, which are well worth noting. First, you need to realize that you are your student's teacher, not their best friend. Many young teachers are concerned whether their students like them or not. Of course, building a rapport is really important, but you are not there to be best buddies with your students. You need to be strong and remember that, yes, it is a student-centered class, but you, the teacher, are still in charge. Second, you have to speak to your students. Obviously, you're going to speak to them every class, but the author means that we need to tell them if you are not satisfied with their behavior. Again, this is tough at first, but as your confidence increases, you will find this helps your classroom atmosphere a lot. Third, you also need to listen to what your students are saying. Noticing is a key word in learning language, but it is also a key word in teaching languages as well. Notice what your students are saying and doing so you'll get some hints on the kind of scaffolding you need to provide. Scaffolding, as you would remember, of course, is the assistance you give your students in their language learning. Get hints from your students to give the best and most effective help you can. So like just about anything we do, we want to get better at it. Teaching is no exception. Well, how do we become better teachers? Our textbook gives us a few excellent ideas. Obviously, we need to continue improving our language skills. Learning languages is a lifelong journey, so we shouldn't stop learning. If English is your first language, as it is for me, it is a great idea to learn the language and culture of your students. I am lucky in that my first major at university was Japanese. I have found that invaluable when teaching English here in Japan. Second, as a teacher, you should consider doing some action research. This does not need to be formal with a 30-page academic paper to follow, but simply go out there and try something new. After that, reflect on it and decide if it works for you and your students. There are some great questions on page 252 you could have a look at in your preparation for improving aspects of your teaching. If you are interested in something a little more formal, there are some steps at the bottom of page 252 that can guide you through that process. Finally, you can look at developing your teaching skills by attending academic conferences. Attending such conferences is a great way to increase your knowledge on the latest trends in teaching and SLA research. If you try some research, you can also present to get feedback from others on your work. Don't worry, usually participants are nice. Usually, nah. You can see a list of organizations on page 254, but the easiest way to find out is to just ask your teacher. The future of teaching is uncertain. I have no doubt teachers will be needed, but our roles may change. Technology is obviously going to play a large part in education, and in fact already does. Our author talks about this on pages 254 to 256. Make sure you have a close read through these pages and even have a look on the internet about what some people think will happen. Large companies and organizations such as Microsoft, Google, and Apple are always considering education in their products, and you can find a lot of useful information about what they are doing on their websites. But we need to remember that the students and their ideas still need to be the center of learning. Technology can be used to assist, but not to take charge. Use technology to save yourself time, make marking more accurate, and provide more individual coaching to your students. Do not just plop your students in front of a screen and make them follow instructions. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a bit of a fan of technology in education. So once I get started, I might not stop. Let's talk about this more in class. What do you think? In your opinion, how is technology going to affect education in the future? Now finally, our author wishes us all well on our journeys as language teachers. Thank you for that. One thing she says, as you can see on page 256, is that teaching is a demanding career, and no one is perfect. That is certainly true. Teachers are generally overworked and underpaid. However, the rewards, and I mean the intrinsic rewards, are worth much, much more, and I'm sure you will have many wonderful experiences in your teaching career. Well, that, my friends, is it. You've managed to power through all the videos for this course, a total of 12 videos over 11 chapters. Well done. Remember to do the preparation for class, and I'll see you there.